How's it going? James, OnlineCarShow.net. Well, in this video, we've got a shift kit for the Focus ST, believe it or not, in this little box. So without hesitation, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, well, I've got a shift kit. Ordered this on Amazon and I'll put a link below. This goes really good with one of the last videos I did, the solid bracket bushing, because you're going to have all the same parts apart and in the same area. But this will shorten your shift throw. It said 10, 20, or 30%. So those are pretty big numbers. 30% is what you usually get off a short throw shifter, at least some that I've had in the past, I think on the Camaro. And I believe this Corvette has the MGWs at 30%. Oh, sorry, 20, 30, or 40. And just to let y'all know, there is another way to get a short shift kit on the Focus ST. And that's through the traditional way, which is changing the shift arm. The advantage of doing that is it's going to give you a shorter shift arm, which is the way to go. So eventually I'm going to order that as well, possibly the 30, and I may, when I do the shift arm later on, I'll lower it to 20, because that shift arm is adjustable too, and you don't want to go overboard with the shifting. You don't want to like 60% shift decrease. So we'll see how the kit is. Another little metal bushing of some kind. And the big thing here is it looks like it actually has instructions in English. Very impressive, China. Well, really cool. We got some instructions to go with as well. Before we do that though, before I forget to, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe below. That helps my channels and videos to grow, and it ensures you don't miss any of my upcoming content. Alright guys, well in this video I'm going to be showing you how to install the shift kit plate. I've got one here that I've ordered from eBay. There are different models you can get. This one, I think it was about 55 bucks, or I ordered it at Amazon. I'll put a link below. But I know Cobb makes a kit, and there's tons of different ones out there. And basically all this kit is going to do, if you see the little hole here in the plate, that's where your stock stud is going to stick through, and we're going to take this new stud and mount it on one of these holes. You'll have a 20%, 30%, or 40% shift reduction. The other thing that wasn't included here you might get is some blue Loctite. I'm going to Loctite each of these connections because you don't want this coming loose driving. And just to let y'all know as a disclaimer, I'm not responsible for anything. If you put this on your car, you're taking this in, you know, your risk in your own hands. This is changing the stock setup and adding a plate to basically change the shift ratio. So all right, well the first step, and I'm following the directions here too, reading them as I'm doing this, we're going to be removing the air box. This is really simple. First thing we want to do is remove our map sensor wire, which I think just presses, yeah, you press down on the side and release. There is a little connection there that keeps the wire held. I recommend you use a interior pry tool like this. Just stick it in there and get it underneath. There we go. And it should, well, with a little bit of effort, pop right out. There we go. All right, next step is going to be loosening this, and you may have the stock. I've got an aftermarket air intake on here, but it's still got the stock coupling here. It's the same concept. If you got the stock, you're just going to be loosening this screw to basically, we're going to be taking this whole assembly off right here. So we want to loosen that screw in the back just to loosen up our coupling on the tube there. And you don't need anything fancy to do this, just a standard cheap flathead gets you done. May have gotten a little bit longer one would have helped though. And I think I've twisted mine a little bit from the way it was stock, so yours is probably a little bit more accessible than mine is. If you need to, you can remove the battery cover here just to give you a little more screwing room.
go. That's probably enough. Yeah. There. Done. All right. So next step, we need to remove this weird little thing here. The intake, I don't know even what you call this. Horrible design, whatever it is. And then we should just be able to pull this whole sucker out. Say that something's being stingy. If you need to, you can pull these little things off. I may do it just so I can see what's stopping me from pulling it out. Nothing really. Looks like should just lift. This front one though, you've got basically what's going on with this intake box is two of them are going down, and this front one it's clipping in. So you need to bring it forward and then up, or toward the car and then up. It looks like that's what's stopping me. I'm gonna get a screwdriver in here just to help push it out. There it goes. Now it should just lift out. There we go. Be careful taking this out. It will fit eventually. Don't want to pull any of your wires back there with it. Here's the box off. Now that gives us access to these two things. And I'm going to be changing these out. You can change out to a solid bushing here. There's a little piece of rubber inside here that makes it softer. Oops, sorry, your hand was blocking. But just know in the future I'm going to have a mod coming up, video coming up here shortly, where I change these out for some solid bushings. I've already changed out the back solid bushings. If you go through my video history, you'll see that one. And I highly recommend that for $18. It was a good mod. But what we're going to be doing today, I believe, go through the instructions here, is popping this sucker off and then basically putting that plate there with, as I mentioned, the stock stud will stick through that one hole in it, and it'll give us a new stud point for a different ratio. And just so y'all know, when you're removing this, I saw this from another YouTube video and it's a great idea. You can actually use your interior pry tool to pop this sucker up. We are going to be messing with this one facing flat, so you just want to carefully pop that sucker off. Make sure you aren't catching the ball, of course. But it should, a little bit of pry. I don't want to break it, because you can break this plastic very easily. Well, this sucker doesn't want to come up. It's funny how things look so easy in other YouTube videos, and they're actually a little bit harder than they look. I'm not going to hide that from y'all. It says we can get a screwdriver. You should now have access to the shift assembly, locate the clip, blah, 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 blah. Remove it. Ideally, this should be done with a small pry bar or a large flat screwdriver. I saw a video where they used this and it seemed like a good trick to getting this done, but it is just, honestly, y'all, it is bending the damn screwdriver. It's not prying. Oh, maybe it is now. It does seem like it moved up, but it isn't coming off yet. Maybe it is trying to. No, it's not. Hadn't moved at all, to be honest with you. Oh, great. So I'm going to try a different technique here. That screwdriver. I'm going to try to twist technique. Not really doing anything. It does allow me to get to the other side of it. Man, I'm just scared pulling on this sucker. Ooh. No, I just broke my interior pry tool. So that guy's video is not good. Yep, that sucker's gone probably. Went loose. Ooh, but it did get that. Looky there. Interior pry tool served its last purpose. We are off. So there you go. All right, so here's our plate. And looking at it, it's gonna go, it only fits one way if it's right. So it goes over the standard shift ball, like I said. You're gonna have that screw, and then it's only fitting that direction. And I'm probably gonna go ahead and install the shift ball. All right, well guys, in this kit, it is a damn 11 millimeter. So you're gonna need an 11 millimeter wrench. And I'm gonna put just a little bit of hair of blue Loctite on that sucker. And like I said, I'm gonna go for the 20. I think 40 is too much. Most of your short shifter kits that I've ever used in the past are usually around 30%. So I'm gonna use 30%. Get you a good covering of that blue Loctite all the way around. Pop that sucker in the 30 hole. I'm sure I'm gonna make a mess, but you can always come back with a paper towel if you want. We got it on there, I got my towel ready. I'm gonna go ahead and just give it tighten a little bit. Do not want this, ooh, there goes that wrench. You do not want this going loose while you're driving. We're gonna be putting this on. I just wanna verify fitment before, of course, I start using some Loctite. This should only fit one direction. It is triangular in shape, so I'm guessing it's gonna be like that. Yep, screws line up perfect. So that's how we're gonna be installing her. I'm gonna go ahead and Loctite my bolts just to get them ready. All right, well, not sure where my battery died on the GoPro, so just to give you all a quick update here, all I've done is screwed this sucker down, 48 foot-pounds of pressure on each of these screws, or 48 inch, sorry, or 4 pounds, 4 foot-pounds. So 4 foot-pounds of pressure on each one of these 3 screws going in. You also got 4 foot-pounds of pressure on this screw going in. You need to pick between 20, 30, or 40%, or 20, 30, 40%. It did say in the instructions, your effort for shifting will increase with that number 2. So it's going to shorten your shift, but it's also going to increase the effort. I'm not sure what that is. I'll give you all an idea when I drive and test this. But I've got just a little bit of grease. I think it had oil in the kit, but it didn't really say what it was in the tube. So I'm just going to put a little bit of my some good old suspension grease on there, and see if we can get this back closer to where it was. Pop, and you should just be able to pop it right back down. Make sure it pops into place. I'm gonna go inside and test the shifting real quick. Make sure everything's good before we batten her all up. Doesn't feel much shorter. I guess it does a little. Yeah, it does. Wow, that gear seems a lot shorter than the other ones. Maybe it's just me, but it seems like second gear is, okay, really short. All right, maybe not. Okay, well, it is a little shorter. I can feel a difference with the 30%. I did the 30% again. So it's working. I'm gonna go ahead and batten her up and take her for a spin. So all you wanna do, I'm not gonna bore y'all with this, you need to put everything back in the same order you took it off the car. Make sure you don't forget to put on your map sensor. You don't wanna get an engine code or something like that off this. But really easy, just throw everything back together. Make sure you tighten up your clamp, of course, on your charger tube, and you're done. And I'm gonna go ahead now and give you all a drive and review. All right, now to review the short shift kit, the Chinese short shift kit. Do recommend y'all put this when you install it on the 20% setting. I went with a 30, but as you can see here, there is a little more effort involved in getting into the second. It seems like it's just second that really struggles. It's not as easy to get in a second and to reverse, kind of. But second's the biggest one.
So it just adds a little more effort into pushing it into that gear. You know, the little hump or whatever you feel when you push it into gear, it just feels like it's a little bit harder than it was before. So I'm gonna set this down to the 20% setting, and I recommend y'all go ahead and get the real short shift arm that replaces the stick shifter. One, you'll get a shorter arm. It will only go like this high instead of this high, and you won't have the problem with getting into gear. It is $100 more for that kit. I think it's $160. But if you do this kit, I wouldn't set it all the way to 40, that's for sure. This is set at 20, or the mid at 30, and it still takes a little effort. So I wouldn't go above that 30 setting. All right, well, as you can see, it's a really fairly easy mod to install. It's going to take you a little bit of time just to get to, you know, taking off the cold air or the intake on the car, etc. As far as my review on how it feels, I like it. I think it was a good increase for the car. Like I said, I'm later on going to go to the 20% on the shift kit and go to maybe 10 or 20% on the short shift lever I get in the future. I do recommend this. The shifting on the Focus ST is, well, way too long. It's the only thing I dislike about that car. I love how the Corvette shifts and how solid it feels. And as you can see through some of these parts I'm adding the Focus, I'm trying to mimic that a little bit more, because the Focus is unfortunately a little bit soft feeling, just for me personally opinion. So I'm hoping, you know, through the short shift kit, through some of the other parts that I'm adding onto the car, we can address some of those issues in the softness. But that's all I got for y'all this week. Hope everybody has a great week, and thank you so much for watching.